everyone. New retail story. But first, a little zoom out. So, just saw another video from the Cardinarchs where a guy decided he was never going to come back to a shopping center just because he was asked if he would bring his shopping cart back to a return. Why is that such a big deal? Well, I can tell you why, just as the agent told him. It was a windy day. That shopping cart, which was loose, standing alone, could be turned around by the wind and hit someone else's car. The guy just laughed that off, but the moment he got a sticker on, well, no, a bumper, a magnet onto his car, he immediately went from laughs to very aggressive. Oh, what? Yeah, he said he didn't care about someone else's property. Didn't care if a shopping cart hit someone else's car. But man, was he going to get furious if someone touches his car. Yeah. As I tell my coworkers in retail, everyone thinks about their property, but they never think about anyone else's property at all. And they'll only be concerned if they get instantly rewarded for something good. If they're not, why do they care? Someone else's property. They got people paid for this. Well, guess what? I'm pretty sure it's not just retail workers that get fed up with the extreme hypocrisy of everyone who does that. And everyone who says they did work retail or do work retail and do that, yeah, I'm going to call your BS on that. It's simple. You care about your own property, but you don't care about someone else's property to the point of leaving something out that will cause a couple $100 or maybe $1,000 in scratches. Yeah. Why would you want to set up the circumstances to where someone else's car gets badly damaged? Yeah, even a little scratch is considered bad damage when it comes to mechanic repairs. And say that you're a good person. Now, 4 years ago, I was actually gathering shopping carts, and I remember a lady was bringing her cart, and she stopped just a few feet away from me, just barely making sure the cart was in the cart return. And I was already getting a whole line of them together. And I asked her if she could give me her cart. And she immediately went into a tirade about how she was in pain. She didn't want to be there. She didn't want to shop, but she had to. Yada, yada, yada. Ending it with, and I'm going to call in a customer complaints against you. For what? For asking her for a cart? You gotta be freaking lazy to do something like that. It's just a couple extra feet. I know people who suffer a lot of pain with bad damaged nerves, and yet they seem to be okay with doing something so simple that she was making a big fuss over. So, yeah, 4 years later, people are still making up all kinds of excuses. And yes, that's all they are, just excuses. Well, why they won't, and I do mean adamantly won't, return their shopping carts. They got people that they paid for to do that. Why would my shopping cart hurt you or anything else? Yeah, just stop with the freaking excuses and actually do something commonly decent for once. Probably in your whole life, assuming you've always let other people do good things for you. And if you're concerned about the money people make, trust me, we retail workers say we're not paid enough to care. And we're really not. Not at all. Not with the cost of living and all that and all those other factors I could go on a rant about. That doesn't matter. What matters is you do not bring your shopping carts, and yet you are offended when you're asked to do something good and decent. Do the right thing. Literally the right thing. It's law to do it. Not a punishable law, no. Not punishable if you don't do it, but it's still a law. And I have seen shopping carts be loosely placed any random place, get pushed by wind, and almost hit someone else's car. Yes, I've seen it. Not just on YouTube, on a couple different channels I've subscribed to. I've seen it with my own eyes. And people say, nah, that never happens. Yes, it freaking does. Get over your selfish ego and rejection of reality that things don't happen like that. People are inherently good. If that were the case, no one would actually be threatening people with death threats just for asking someone to do something that either is a store policy or is common sense. Yeah, I'm still thinking about that retail worker who was shot in the face last year just because a customer didn't want to wear a mask. He legitimately got fed up with her, went out to his car, got a gun, just because he didn't want to wear a mask. Yeah, that made news. But yeah, people are inherently good. Right. People are inherently good. If they were, they'd have no problem bringing their shopping carts to the carts corral instead of leaving it on a curb in front of everyone else, or as happened very recently at my workplace, some guy bringing his shopping carts to his car where he parked illegally, was not supposed to, knew that, was told multiple times not to do that, did it anyway, and when he was done, he just pushed the shopping cart far enough to get right in front of the door my department uses to bring orders out. I was about to listen to my coworker who was telling me not to bother, do not go out and confront the guy till he did that. Passive aggressive sign of, yeah, do something about it. Tell me that I'm in the wrong. And we did. 3 of us workers told him he was in the wrong. What's the guy do? Tell us that if we hurt his car while he was out, he was gonna do something about it. I'm not gonna repeat his words, but he's basically threatening us with body harm. Yeah, needless to say, he is now banned from the store. And if he ever comes back, that's a liable offense to get arrested over. Simple as that. But yeah, people are inherently good, which I do not believe and never believed it at all. And if you work retail service, you can definitely tell how horrible a lie that actually is. Not just with the shopping carts either. I could go on a whole rant for hours about horrible things people do and say that show that they are horrible, egotistic, liars, and thieves, etc., etc. But for now, I'll just say that just people and shopping carts is a horrible idea, despite it being a necessary evil. And if you think that you can do whatever you want, consequences be damned, well, guess what? You're out of luck. People will catch on. People will call you out. And if you have a problem with that, your biggest problem is your failure to recognize your own failure in the logic. Your own failure to recognize you're in the wrong. And if you think everybody else is in the wrong just because you're being called out, yeah, someone needs to work on your perspective to show you definitely need to see things better. Have a good day, retail workers and customers.